You bet.
To the left, Cease.
So, Kevin, what's the agenda? What do you want to accomplish this first week, this open week?
It doesn't change much for us in the fact of what the main focus is. It'll be about us and realistically fixing issues that we've had over the course of the last 6 weeks, whatever those are, whether they're things that we deem to be schematic or things that that could be other kind of issues internally, just from how we've played in certain games and some things have come up, and then really looking at where we are health-wise, getting guys back up to full speed. The last couple of weeks we're not, and like I told our team, we're not different than anybody else. I watched games, guys come in here missing people. There's guys all over the country that were missing guys in week 6. So, we're not. I think what these guys have done is done a great job of not making excuses, playing for each other, trying to play when they can, and they've done a good job of communicating. This is a mature team that, as I told a couple guys, listen, you don't want to put you in a position that you want to play, but we don't want you to hurt our team and yourself with your performance. And does that mean you've got to be 100%? No, but you got to be at a certain level to play in this league, and our guys have been able to communicate that. And that comes with age and maturity and trust. And so we've had a core of guys that have played very well and played extremely hard and played physical football over the course of the last month and a half. And this week comes at a good time for us to take a deep breath, physically kind of gather your thoughts, and then get started. Yesterday we put the Tennessee game away, talked about that, talked about the things we had to get better, practiced yesterday, and then we moved on to Alabama.
Go down front, Sam, and then Gabe.
Kevin, with 7 turnovers, but also a lot of yardage yielded, what's your view on the takeaways from your defensive performance on Saturday?
We want to play better, but the point of emphasis going into the game was takeaways. It's all part of the game. And, we want to be dominant every week. But, there's good teams out there and good players and good coaches in this league. And sometimes it goes that way. I think, Chief will tell you, we want to play better. We need to play better. We had some breakdowns that gave up big chunks of yardage, which we haven't done this year. And that was because of a couple different things, but those are things that can be fixed. And as I just talked about things that what do you want to do in the bye week, those are things that as a coaching staff, as a team, you start work on. That's about things to fix where you are, not necessarily about what opponents have where people are attacking you, where these guys are like I tell our team, at halftime, guys come off the sideline in the second quarter. Hey, they got coaches too over there. So whatever you do, you're putting on videotape, and it's a resume. And guys are studying that, and they're looking for every weakness that you have. And from week to week, certain things come up and get exposed, and you have to be able to tweak those things. And so, that's where we are right now as a team, not just defensively, but there's things we can do offensively better. There's things we can do special teams-wise better. So, the good news is we've won, and we've played some good teams. You can say our quality of opponent has been as good as anybody's in the country, with 3 ranked teams. Now, I guess, Auburn's in the rankings, right? So, the quality's been good. We've been in some good ball games, some tight ball games, but we also got to look at who we are and what we're doing that's given us some difficulties, and try to get those fixed this week.
Go Gabe, Ben, then Brent.
Kevin, could you speak to the impact the Turners have made since coming in and the improvement you've seen instantly offensive and defensive lines in the trenches.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, Jim Turner, everybody knows him here from his first stint here with Coach Sherman. From a recruiting standpoint, he didn't really get a chance to coach all those guys, but recruited a lot of them, and just as a real technician, a guy that understands what it takes. I think, you know, we're playing really every level of player in that offensive line. We've got a two red-shirted junior college, you know, third-year guys, which you never see. We've got a true freshman, and, you know, so the oldest to the youngest guys, you know, it's a redshirt freshman, sophomores, guys in there. And so the ability to get all that to gel, regardless of age level, has been, you know, has been great in a line that, you know, people were really, really worried about. You know, I said during fall camp, this is a bigger offensive line, the biggest ones we've had since we've been here, even for those guys to be young. So they're big and athletic and strong, and because of that, you can get away with a few more things. I think Noel's done a good job of really playing to their strengths to try to help us with some of the protections and some of the RPO concepts. But he's done a great job, and obviously David Turner has come in here and given guys like Reggie Chavis new life. You know, Reggie was a guy who barely played a little football here. He's 300 pounds now, created a rotation internally. You know, everybody's asking, you know, what's going on with Dalen Mack? And nothing's going on with Dalen Mack. Just Kiki and Zaykoven are playing very well right now. And Dalen's playing a lot of snaps. And, you know, so is Hardrick Walker. And we're getting something out of Reggie. So, you know, you've got a real five-man rotation inside that we've never had since we've been here. And that ability to keep those guys playing and keep them doing what they need to do and keep the effort high is a lot easier on those guys when you can rotate five. When you're 300 pounds out there, that becomes difficult to expend that kind of energy. And, you know, those guys aren't here to make a lot of tackles. You know, what they're here for, and it's taken some transition for these guys. The way we're playing defense is to hold the point and not get run out of their gaps. Maybe take up a couple blockers on different deals, and really force the ball to go east and west and not straight through us. And, you know, for the most part, that's been one of the biggest improvements in our defense.
Go Ben and then Brent.
You know, Coach, you reference it all the time with Armani and
Justin.
there we
and
go.
Donovan.
Thank you, AC. With Armani and Justin not being on the preseason coaches team, what did you see in them that the other coaches didn't see at the beginning of the year?
I don't know. I don't know what they didn't see last year out of them. So that's why I'd say that. I don't think anybody's surprised. To be honest with you, I really don't think anybody's surprised by Armani Watts, Justin Evans, and Donovan Wilson the way they're playing right now. I think people would be disappointed if they weren't playing at that level. They played like that last year at the end of the year. I mean, Donovan Wilson was creating big plays all the time. Armani's been a good player, and so has Justin. You can ask just about anybody. So I was a little shocked like anybody else, but that's okay.
And since you referenced health earlier, are you willing to say who you might have available in a couple weeks?
No.
All right.
Okay, down front, Brent. Then to the back, Colin.
That's the old I had to ask deal? The old I had to ask?
Having worked with Coach Stoops and then now having his quarterback that he had before, how impressed were you with what Oklahoma and that offensive game plan, and in particular what Trevor Knight did against Alabama back in the 2014 Sugar Bowl? You
know, I haven't watched that game yet on purpose. I'll probably watch it next week. I saw a little bit of it on television when it happened, but so many things have happened since then. But to be honest with you, I have not watched that game from a coach's copy standpoint. And I don't know that I will watch it. There's so many different things that have happened since then. But you know, I did see part of it on television that night, and had watched Trevor throughout the year at different times. But it's funny you bring that up. I haven't even thought about watching that yet, so I don't know that I will.
Do you think that could be a helpful part of the game plan, though, in terms of video? Or?
You know what? It'd be like watching our game in 2012. You know, I don't know what we can get out of that either, because there's hardly anybody here left from that game. You know, and really, if you look at Alabama's roster, it's about the same. You know that you know, it's been a while since he played. You look at all those young DBs and everybody else that have scored, what, 9 defensive touchdowns. They weren't playing in that game. So I'm more concerned about what I'm seeing right now from that front that's rotating a bunch of guys, and Minkah Fitzpatrick returning every interception for a touchdown he can get his hands on. But I don't know. You know, like I said, I'll be honest with you, Brent, I haven't watched that. I've just been watching them. Trust me, the first 5 weeks of games that I've watched, that's enough for me to watch right now than to watch one from a couple years ago.
Go to the back, Colin. Down front, Sam.
Coach, when you saw what you had in fall camp with everything you had on offense and knowing what Noel was going to bring with his offense, did you think it'd be possible for you guys to be leading the conference in total offense at the bye week?
You want the truth?
Yes.
I really don't think like that. I don't think well, maybe some coaches do. I didn't sit down and say, man, you know what? We're going to be leading the league in offense in the bye week. That's the truth.
What about, did you think that it'd be possible to, you know, just be leading the conference, not just at the bye week?
Here's what I thought. I thought that we had enough weapons on the perimeter. I thought, and if you guys can remember, everybody wanted to talk about, you know, one running back during preseason. I'm not going to bring that up, but I am. And I said we've got 5 guys that can play, and we're going to work through those guys and give them opportunities. And there's still guys who haven't been on the field that may have an opportunity. And we're going to need all those guys. So skill-wise, you know, we're in great shape from a depth standpoint. And it was going to depend on how our line came along and how Trevor came along. But it was up to those other guys, the way our offense is built, to help our offensive line, to help our running backs, to help our quarterback, and really, you know, the scheme and play call. So, you know, we've been up and down this year, but, you know, from a number standpoint, from a sheer number standpoint, you know, we're in a good place offensively. Are there things that we need to get better? You bet. There's a bunch of them. And I think what Noel has done a great job of, and our offensive staff has done a great job of is recognizing that, having answers, trying to fix problems during the week that have come up, but also having answers and anticipating some things that are coming down the road. Because, you know, everybody in this league, the first thing they want to do is stop what you do best. And if you can't have an answer for that, you know, you're in trouble. So our offensive staff has done a great job of that. And am I pleased where we are offensively right now? Statistically, it's hard not to be. But, you know, we also know there's some things that we've got to get corrected and some things we've got to be able to do better if we want to be the team that we want to be at the end of the year.
We'll make an adjustment here. We'll go Daryl, Sam, and Zach. You'll wrap us up.
Coach, I know that the play that Tennessee made against Travion late was a great football play, but how do you avoid that happening? Is there a way to coach against the guy knocking the ball loose late in the ball game? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I hope so. We've talked about it. He's a little tired right then, too. I didn't know if you knew that. So I've gotten the emails, why did he slow down at the goal line? Because yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure if he knew, or if he wasn't, you know, he'd like to get 2 more yards too. He didn't do that on purpose. So it's a little bit different than dropping the ball before you cross the goal line. That's a hell of a play by the Tennessee player, a hell of a play. And, you know, you see it happen a bunch, you know, unlike Armani's last 2 weeks in a row inside the 10-yard line, instead of trying to tackle a guy, just go rip the ball out. And that's becoming more and more commonplace, I guess, in football. So it's never over until it's over. You know, he felt terrible about it as a young guy. And, you know, thank goodness, you know, Coach McKinney was able to talk, because he was distraught, and was able to talk him back into getting back on the field, because he put us in a position to win a game again with 2 great runs. So, you know, it's a learning experience, and he learned from it.
I said it was a great play. I wasn't trying to dog on him or anything. And you mentioned the fact that we have seen it a lot. I just didn't know if there's
No, you
a way
haven't seen that a lot.
No, but I mean, we have seen people.
You've seen guys drop the ball before they run in. You've seen our guys rip the ball out inside the 5. We haven't seen. I can tell you, you haven't seen that play right there a lot in college football. That was a hell of a play by the guy from Tennessee. We haven't seen that.
All right. We'll go down front, Sam, and then Zach will wrap us up.
Where is Trevor's level of play compared to where you want it to be right now?
You know, it's good. He wants to get better. You know, there's things that he knows that he's working at, that we've all, you know, talked to him about. But he's a guy that works extremely hard in preparation, wants to be great. And I think the biggest deal is, as I said before, was how Noel has kind of gotten to know him a little bit more and what his strengths and weaknesses are. And it's different when you got a 5th-year guy that, you know, really you've got 2 plans going. You know, you've got, hey, we got to win. Hey, let's keep developing him. But we also got to play to his strengths, because, you know, he's not here 3, 4, 5 years to develop. So we've got to figure out and get on the same page quickly, utilize his skill set to, you know, as we best can. And so I think that relationship has grown every week. And, you know, he's a winner. And a lot of times, you know, statistics and things like that come up say one thing, but the win and loss column says a lot more. And he's had as much to do with that as any player on this team.
To the left here, Zach.
Coach, how beneficial is it having a team that you just played, playing a team you're about to play during your bye week?
I don't know. I think it only thing it can give you a little bit of a reference point from a talent standpoint. And, you know, so many times, you know, we watch games and you really don't have any feel for what that team's about, particularly when you see teams from the East. You know, you watch 2 weeks ago, I watched 3 weeks ago when we played late, I watched Ole Miss and Georgia. I watched Ole Miss with Georgia couldn't score until maybe a couple minutes left to go in the game. So I'm trying to get a reference point of, wow, Ole Miss looks really, really good. But we don't play Georgia. We don't play, you know what I mean? So from this standpoint, when you start looking at teams and that you haven't played and you've been on a field with, I think speed-wise, matchup-wise, you probably get a little bit better feel when you watch the video than you would without some common video. And whether that's the week before or any time during the year. Does that make sense? So, you know, just because it's a week before, is that more helpful than any time during the year? I don't know. It may be from a standpoint of from a health situation. We've played teams in the course of the last 5 years at a certain point that, like Ole Miss last year when they got all those guys back, you know. So they were a lot different team when we played them than we saw week 4, 5, or 6. And, you know, when they got everybody back, that was a lot different football team.